It's almost May and I'm doing the April Q&A. Sorry. Hey guys, and welcome to the April Instagram Q&A. I pull all of these questions from Instagram, so whenever I prompt you, I hope you guys have an Instagram to ask questions. I tried doing it multi-platform where it's just from every social network, but I got like no questions anywhere but Instagram, so I decided to just condense it and make it at Instagram only. Basically how I do this is I post a picture with a little caption inside the picture that says Instagram Q&A time or Q&A time, and I prompt you guys to ask me whatever the fuck you want, and I'll answer as many as I possibly can that are actually good. And if I reference back to any other video that I've done on the topic before, the link to those will be in the description. I love answering you guys' questions, mainly because I'm an open book and a lot of people enjoy how candid I am about things that most people won't talk about. There are very few things I won't talk about. Are you fucking kidding me? I just recorded a video before this and I've had this fucking sticker on my tits the entire time. I always take these off and like stick them on Jay's like cock, not his actual cock, like where his cock would be in the pants. Because I always get small and extra small shirts and I think it's hilarious. More so hilarious because how big his dick is. And I'm just like, that's small, Anyway, let's answer some questions. So John V THVNLU said, what's more heavier, a pound of cotton or a pound of stones? Now when I see questions like these posted, I always think that person had that done to them and it worked on them. So the people who post these comments asking these retarded questions are so stupid that it actually works on them. Also Attell, he says more heavier, like in a textual platform where he could edit himself. They're both the same weight because they're both a pound. Duh. What's taller, a 5'4" fat girl or a 5'4" skinny girl? Metalistad asks, since you like old British comedies like Monty Python, do you enjoy any other comedies / dramas / etc. from the UK? I love Carl Pilkington things. The original Office was also British. I like that one a lot, but I like the American one better just because more seasons, better actors, I don't know. But the finale of the original one always makes me like wanna cry, but then I don't because I don't. Hopefully that made sense. I also like Sherlock. Benedict Cumberbatch can get it. The new guy asks, how can we get our own J if we want? Like also if we don't already have a close female or male friend. Because I would really like a relationship like you and Jay have, but I don't have a close female friend that would be a J to me. Honestly, I don't have an answer to that. It's extremely hard to instigate a relationship like that and find another like-minded person that you also like as a person and can trust. I don't know. I'm very lucky, basically. Jocelyn Joseph 96 asks, what is your favorite makeup brand? It used to be MAC until I started testing on animals. Now I mostly use NYX. I use some Urban Decay, some Smashbox, but that shit's like way more expensive than NYX. NYX lip colors and glosses, my favorite. The butter gloss, the lip lingerie, the plump it up with the little syringe on it. Oh, I'm in love with those. Preacher of Peace asks, dream vacation. Literally my dream vacation would be just to sit on the couch and play video games. Some of my favorite times in my entire life were when I was sick, so I had to take time off of modeling or whatever I was doing at the time, and I would just lay on the couch for a full week and complete a game. One of my favorite times doing this was playing Heavy Rain. I was really sick. It was raining outside and I was up during the night, so it was like really dark and rainy and just fit the ambiance of the entire game, and I played it through like 100 times and got a platinum trophy. And I can just chill with Jay and we eat pizza and we don't have to go to the gym. Like that kind of thing I want to do sparingly because I do enjoy being productive, but that's my favorite vacation. For sure. I don't like going places, I don't like traveling. Amit Singh for July asks, do you remember when the first time you masturbated was and to whom, and how does it feel and how long did it last? I actually made a video about that. It's called I Masturbated to Eminem. I'll post in the description. Dope OG Geek asks, would you rather be rich and hated or poor and loved? Once again, I always hate questions like these. I could go on a long ramble for each of them, going over the different possibilities and details. Like, what are the details? Are you saying that I would be poor and have like one person who loves me? Or if I would be rich and hated by most people, but then I still have Jay? Because obviously being rich is better than being poor. And that doesn't mean that I think money is everything, obviously. But obviously not having to worry about money ever again is a really nice thing, and you can do a lot of really amazing things with that. And you can just kind of focus on your hobbies, which most people want to do, I'm sure. Which is kind of what I'm doing with my career. But if I had to take away everyone in my life who loved me, like behind the scenes, like Jay, I would definitely say to be poor and be loved by the people I actually give a shit to love me. If it's just in a large general sense, where like the world hates me on the internet, that's kind of already a thing, and I don't care. That doesn't affect me at all. Now, so the Black asks, if you could pick one superpower, what would it be and why? I've talked about this before, I feel like, but I would definitely want to read people's minds. or control people's minds. Kind of like Jessica Jones type of thing. I just think that's extremely powerful, and I feel like I already give that to other people. Like, you don't have to read my mind, I tell you what's on my mind. And I feel like that's so rare in society that I would like to have that superpower, so it's easier to tell fake people from genuine people. And so if I wanted a guy, you know, I could kind of manipulate my way in there, you know what I'm saying? That would be pretty useful. Hentai Genia asks, would you ever come to the Netherlands so we can go on a date, obviously, and have a good time? Dude, I fucking wish! I actually have a lot of people that I care about in the Netherlands, so it would be nice to go out there at some point. But traveling, ugh. Funen True asks, how many times have you been fucked? Like, literally, if you can count or remember how many times you've been fucked, you have not been fucked enough. I've only had sex with like 10 guys, but I have had sex, like each particular sex session, like a billion times? I don't know. I stopped counting in like the first year that I started having sex. The guy I lost my virginity to, I had sex with twice. The guy after that, I had sex with 3 times. And then after that, it was just like, I had a boyfriend for 2 years and we had sex every chance we could get. Tara Ashlyn asks, do you have a Tinder? Have you ever thought of making one? I'm not really actively looking for sexual partners or boyfriends or anything like that, but I did once for fun make a Plenty of Fish account and it was banned within the first day. They were like, oh, using fake people's pictures. And I wasn't even using like modeling pictures. I was using my Instagram like selfies. Ed2Cute asks 2 questions. Number 1, once you gain a certain level of fame, how do you safely make friends or develop relationships? I.e. knowing they're not using you. I think that can be really tough. I don't feel like I'm at the level of fame where I have to worry about that, and I also don't feel like I'm not as social as a lot of other people. I feel like most people who get to know me try to act like they don't know anything about my career or what I do, and a lot of them try to belittle it, and I just feel like I don't really develop close relationships, and I haven't for years. I mean, the only close relationship I really have is Jay, and then my parents. And friends from like high school and before, but we don't see each other that often. So when I make friends, I just keep them as acquaintances. And I feel like keeping them as acquaintances until you can kind of gauge their intent is a pretty good practice. But obviously there are people that prefer to have a lot of friends and acquaintances rather than have just a close-knit few. And I feel like I make more friends out of like you guys. There are like 5 to 10 people who watch all of my videos who I've never met in real life, who I consider to be closer friends than a lot of my family, and are way closer than anyone I meet in magic tournaments or my modeling shoots or in the industry. Question number 2. On your stream you said I'm just cute, not too cute. Does that still stand, or where am I now? I would still say you're just cute, because being too cute for a guy is kind of a bad thing. Also, I think what you're referring to was just like bad grammar in your name. I wasn't actually saying you're not too cute. I'm sorry if you like held on to that as if like it was a diss or something. I did not mean it that way. Secruncho411 asks, why do girls get offended when you say or hint you pleasure yourself to thoughts of them, or when you say or hint you get hard around them? I think a lot of women from a young age are tailored to believe that sex should only be something you do with someone you really care about, and it should be like some kind of sensual, like lovey-dovey thing. So the idea of someone like fapping or getting hard or thinking of you in a dirty manner is something that kind of freaks them out and turns them off. I honestly just think a lot of women don't enjoy sex and don't feel comfortable about sex, so that just turns them off or scares them away. It doesn't make any sense to not think of it as something that's just highly flattering. Spiky Riri asks, what's your favorite animal? A baby chicken. Basanio Machapa asks, which character in Mario would you let explore your insides? I have always been a firm believer that Peach was not actually abducted by Bowser, she just wanted to go fuck a more manly man, who's giant with big spikes and super strong, and is a king. I am also that way. I would have sex with Bowser. Stupid Username asks, favorite movie? Favorite movie of all time would either be something like WALL-E, because that movie is so adorable and I love animated movies. Something from Studio Ghibli. Miyazaki is so fucking amazing. I would either say Princess Mononoke or Spirited Away, which like holds a special significance to me because it was the first one that I ever saw. My dad bought it for me. He's awesome, by the way. Thank you, Dad. I've watched like every one of them and own like most of them now. Or something like Equilibrium. But I've watched Equilibrium so many times that I'm like kind of sick of it. Jocelyn Joseph 96 asks, as another question, what are some of your beauty icons? When I was younger, I really loved Christina Aguilera's look. She's the one that made me fall in love with the platinum blonde hair and the red lipstick. Like that looks so good to me. And the tan skin and everything and the blue eyes. It's like, oh, that's like perfection to me. And she's not necessarily perfection, just that aesthetic is really attractive to me. Like the person doesn't even have to be attractive, it's just the colors contrasting. It's just, oh, so good. But now I like Lauren Curtis and a few other YouTubers I just watch because I think they're pretty. I don't really learn anything makeup wise. I'm kind of self-taught and I'm pretty stubborn in that regard. But I do enjoy watching beauty YouTubers when I have extra time, especially ones that talk about their day and then just look really hot doing it. Superman Hates Me says, speak some more Serbian, it's cute. Pushi mi kurac. That's all you get. Tegan Cole asks, what do you think is more sexy, werewolves or Edward? Vampire, in parentheses. The only person who's even halfway attractive in Twilight is Kellen Lutz. He's buff and sexy. And he has a German name. I would fuck the shit out of Kellen Lutz. Other than that, if you're going for good vampire movies, you should go with the Underworld series. Way better than Twilight or any of that teen bullshit crap. Even though Twilight wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. It was entertaining, it was fine. Vampires are gothic, manly, sexy, and high class. Even though how feral werewolves are and the virility of werewolves is kind of sexy, I think vampires just win it. I have a thing for blood too. Rubbertongue888 asks, I asked this on stream, but very curious for the answer. How would your life be if you would have been the third or fourth child? I would be less of the person that I want to be, I'm pretty sure, but you can't be certain, right? I was gonna tell this story in a storytime video, and I probably still will, but my mom adopted my best friend because she was having a troubled home life when I was in my teens, and that made me stop being friends with that friend. And I don't know if it was because she turned into a bitch or because of the way it was, the dynamic in the relationship, but it ruined our friendship. So I kind of know what it's like to have a sibling a little bit for a couple years. I like being an only child. Pitpig Lock and Kate asks, when was your last MFM or FMF? Which do you prefer? Now, for those of you who don't know, she's referring to threesomes. MFM is male, female, male, and FFM is female, female, male, obviously. I've never had a male, male, female threesome. Totally open for it. I used to not be open for it because it was kind of like, I don't know, something about it to me was just weird, but now I'm kind of like, why not? Let's experiment. I guess I wasn't not into it, I just didn't want it, and now I do. But my last 2 girls and 1 guy threesome was a little over a year ago. It's been a while. We don't really go anywhere anymore. I've had quite a few of those though in my life. And I think I would definitely prefer female, female, male because I like treating a man like a king more than I like having 2 naked guys rub their penis on me. But I would definitely enjoy both. More penises equals more holes filled, equals a bigger job for me because I have to please 2 men, and I'm definitely up for that challenge. I just kind of liked messing around with chicks with another guy. That's just my favorite thing to do in terms of threesomes. Alex NPE asks, on a scale from 1 to mean Fox, and I think he means Megan Fox, where would you place yourself? And no, quote, I would place myself at Tara, end quote. That is not an answer. I don't know, Megan Fox, I guess, but that's just my own personal opinion. Some people find their perfection in overweight girls, natural girls, black girls, Asian girls, brunettes. Everyone has a preference, and I tailor myself to mine because I am bisexual and I do know what I like in a girl and I do know what I want to look like. But there are definitely different types of girls that I find really attractive that look nothing like me. Like little Asian girls. Cola Champagne Poppy asks, do you plan on having children, and if so, what would you prefer, boys or girls, and how many would you have? 0 and no, I'm not. I don't like children, and I don't think I would be a good mother. If I applied myself and that was something I wanted to do, I feel like I'd be the best mother ever, but it doesn't align with my philosophies and my views on life and how I want to live my life. TX Roca asks, if you quit YouTube, what would you do for a job? I have no idea. I feel like I found my niche. I'm happier than I've ever been, and I used to think when I have to stop modeling, maybe I would open a gym and yada yada yada, and I had plans for other things, and I wasn't worried about the time when I would have to quit modeling. But if I'm not modeling and I'm not doing YouTube, I'm probably not happy. Creating content of some type, using my personality, being sexy, and playing games is just what I feel like I was born to do. I hope you guys find what you feel like you were born to do and then are able to do it as well. You can do it. Go. W Smith 1442 asks, how often do you and Jay have sex? Every day. Aw, yeah. Sean Cheshire asks, have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? My answer is, I love you. Tristan Dre asks, fuck, marry, kill. Jay, Ben Affleck, and Amanda Cerny. I had to look up Amanda Cerny when I first saw this comment, and she's hot. Okay, she's hot. She's definitely hot. I would definitely do her in another circumstance, but bye, Amanda. I would fuck Ben Affleck and marry Jay. Assuming that marrying Jay means I get to have sex with him as well. I've never understood this question because I would definitely have sex with the person I marry, right? And then that's just like the better position. So I'm assuming it's like one night stand fuck and then marry and have sex with for the rest of my life. Yeah, that would be Jay, and then fucking Ben Affleck once would be fine. Prismal asks, what was the boob job procedure like? I did a lot of research beforehand. I was pretty much obsessed with it because I wanted everything to be perfect. Then I went through with it, and then it only hurt for like, there was 2 seconds in my recovery where it actually hurt. I was like, ah, and it felt like it was just nerves reconnecting or some weird shit. And the rest of it was just, I had to sleep propped up, and that kind of sucked. And I couldn't work out for a while, so I gained like 5 pounds. But other than that, it was like the easiest, most painless shit ever. And it wasn't that big of a deal, and it was kind of nice to just watch my new big boobs settle in, and I was wearing like this comfy sports bra, and it was like no big deal. And from then on, I never really freaked out about any surgeries after that. It was just kind of like, this is easy. The worst part about it is actually waking up from being knocked out with general anesthesia because I can't like control my falling asleep. I'm like this, and I had to pee after one of my procedures once. And it was so fucking hard to do. I was like, oh, and I had the nurse like take down my pants for me and put them back up, and it's awful. I don't like being not in control of my body. That's why I never like drink or do drugs beyond the point of blacking out or anything. It's just not fun for me and it freaks me out. So that's like the worst part. It's like falling asleep after and not fully coming out of the general anesthesia. Little Droyer asks, what is the best thing about being part of geek culture? Literally everything. Like the fact that I feel like there are people always surrounding me, like even if it's on the internet, that have the same interests I have and know about the things that I'm talking about, and we can discuss them, and just enjoying the things that we enjoy and not giving a fuck what anyone else says. That's just amazing. When I was growing up, nobody liked the things that I liked. I was a very odd creature. But since I had the confidence, I was able to still have a social life, and I wasn't bullied or anything. People tried, but it doesn't work. But anyway, it's really nice to share my passions with other people, and that's not something I had when I was growing up. Other than a few boys that I knew, who I very much cherished because they were actually cool. It's nice to know that there are like millions of you out there. Thank you for existing. Sanitary Sanchez asks, what is your starting class in Dark Souls 3? I made two, Pyromancer and Deprived. Deprived because I just wanted to see his cock as he rolls. You should watch my Dark Souls 3 video if you haven't already. MaddieZilla18 asks, what is something you would tell your younger self and why? I would say that streaming and making YouTube videos of games is actually something you can live off of, and you should start doing it earlier. In fact, you should not be a full-time model. You should split your time modeling to make a little extra money to start your career and just fucking focus full on with YouTube and Twitch. Because I wish I started earlier. I really do. Like, that's the only thing I wish I could change about my past. When I was younger, I heard about people being like pro gamers and stuff, and I knew that I was never like the best. I was one of the best out of my friends, and clearly that's like a small clump of like 10 guys, and then me being able to beat most of them in like Tekken and stuff, and GoldenEye. But I knew I wasn't gonna be world class at video games. I just knew I had the passion for it, and if I had known that with the incursion of Twitch and people making YouTube videos with their games, you could actually live off of that, I would have done that as soon as possible. Almost Normal asks, what is your biggest regret that you had on a sexual experience? There was this one guy that I was up in a hotel room with who was like the hottest guy ever. He was a bodybuilder, and I didn't have sex with him, and I regret that. Because then we kind of stopped talking because he had a girlfriend, yada yada. There was also a guy that I had sex with a few times recently that I wish I could have just never had sex with. But it's whatever, it's a learning experience. There's nothing that I would actually take back. I don't really have regrets. Like, I wish I hadn't got my nose pierced, because now I have this little like scar tissue that like bumps out, and it got infected and it was awful. And I wish I didn't get this pierced, the Monroe piercing. But like now I know not to just go out willy-nilly and get piercings because I don't heal well. Everything's a learning experience. Turn something negative into something positive. 99 Bertha 23 asks, ever did a foot job? Yes, I have. And it's done a foot job. Afiron asks, how many games did you complete? I was a serial game jumper until I met Jay. Like, I literally had hundreds and hundreds of games as a kid because I was spoiled as fuck, and I never finished any of them. When they started getting hard or when I would get bored, I would just switch. And my friend Chris, who I played most of my video games with, who was my next door neighbor, like, I would watch him complete games, and I liked watching people play games almost as much as I liked playing them myself. But like, when I'm playing alone, I would get so sick of one and then start playing another, and I would randomly get an inkling to play a certain game that I hadn't played for a while, so I would just play it for a little bit until I got bored with it. So the amount of games that I've actually completed have only been since I was 14 and on, and I would say probably under 100, even though I've played thousands. And if you're talking about completing as in getting 100%, I've only done that with Heavy Rain, almost Binding of Isaac, a God of War game, I think 2, and Brotherhood, I think, Assassin's Creed. I don't 100% games very often. Kumchata asks, what would be the name of your first son or daughter? Okay, so since I'm not having kids, this is kind of moot, but it's also interesting to think about. If I had a boy, I would name him Victor or Vlad or something really manly and also kind of creepy, like a vampire name. And if I had a girl, I would name her something cute or pretty, but also that's unique. I would have to think on the girl name. All right, this is my last question. MK Dynasty 272 says, question, what is your opinion on going out on a date, for example, with one of your subscribers to get to know each other first? I have no problem with someone who is initially a fan of me becoming someone I'm sexually involved with. Obviously, you guys know that I don't date and stuff, and I do more like alternative relationships. And there's definitely been guys who found out about me through my gaming or vlog stuff who I was attracted to, but then there is kind of the power shift and dynamic in that relationship because they were a fan of me. So as long as they're well grounded, it would be fine. But if it's just for fucking, then who cares? I would do it, definitely. I have no problem with that. In fact, I would rather my close friends and the people that I fuck be fans of my work. I don't understand people who say like, well, he's pathetic because he's a fan, and don't like that. And I feel like a lot of people think that that's the better way to go, to act like, oh, the shit that she's doing is dumb. Because a lot of people that I actually do get to know act that way. They act like they don't watch my videos or support my content, and it's just like, my real friends would support my content, bro. And I have a bunch of female viewers that I would totally do, especially if they want to come over and play with me and Jay. But obviously I have to make sure to protect myself and know that that person isn't just trying to use me or is trying to hurt me or isn't gonna be like one of those crazy fans. And you can tell when people are like that. When people kind of worship you, and then if you were to have sex with them and leave or date them and it didn't work out, they would turn into crazy people. Or they would allow you to have too much power over you, kind of like the Toby Turner situation, and they have no self-respect of their own. So they make it really easy to have a really imbalanced power dynamic. So yeah, I don't really date, I don't go out on dates, but if I were ever to want to fuck a fan, I would definitely do it. No problems with that. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and any comments posted down there might be replied to by me in text, but they're not going to be in this video because I take all of these questions from Instagram. So make an Instagram. Oh, and also turn on notifications for my Instagram. Here's how. You click the little gears up here and you click turn on notifications. Do it and you'll know when I post a picture. That picture might be the one that prompts you to ask questions. I love you so much. Thanks for being who you are. I will continue to be who I am, and I hope we can enjoy each other. Mwah! I love you so much. Bye.